Hi, this is Dr. Berry. In this short video, I want to talk to you about a dietary experiment that you might want to give a try. I actually have given it a try myself with pretty darn encouraging results. It's the carnivore diet, and this is something you may have been hearing about lately. I think it's catching on. It seems like a fad, but it's actually hundreds of thousands of years old. And so I love it that we are all slowly rediscovering these dietary truths that seem to be lost for the last 50 and 60 years, while the American Heart Association and the American Diabetic Association were in charge of our dietary recommendations. The USDA and the FDA turns out don't really know much about what human beings should actually eat. And so I want you to listen to this video about the carnivore diet and my experience with it, and then you can decide whether you want to give it a try or not. Now, if you know someone who is thinking about trying a 2 week, 4 week, 6 weeks trial of carnivory, then please share this video with them on your social media. You can text the link to them, you can email it to them, you can send it in a Facebook Messenger message and share this with them, and maybe they can learn something and maybe they can teach me something as well. Now, let's talk about the carnivore diet, and we're going to talk about my experience with it, and then also I'm going to explain it to you what it is, why we think it may help, how long you should do it, who should do it, etc. So let's talk about the carnivore diet. So 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, when almost all of us were eating the standard American diet, or if we had heart disease or diabetes, we were eating the AHA or the ADA diet. Well, we all know now, looking back over the last few years, that these diets have led to epidemics of type 2 diabetes, of insulin resistance, of PCOS, of dementia, of all these other chronic diseases, including skin diseases like psoriasis and eczema, that get terribly worse when you eat an awful diet like that. And so more and more people have been waking up on their own, and with the help of YouTube videos and Facebook posts and Instagram and other social media, to say, hey, maybe I shouldn't just blindly listen to what Kraft or Kellogg's or General Mills tells me I should eat. Maybe I shouldn't just blindly listen to the American Heart Association or the American Diabetic Association, or even maybe, just maybe, I shouldn't blindly listen to my doctor's dietary advice. Maybe I should think about this and read about this and do my own research, because, after all, our human body's made of the diet that we fed it over the last year. That's literally what you're made of as you sit there watching this now. And so when you think of it with that new paradigm, quickly you see that your diet is actually the most important thing in your life, in your health, in your mental health, is your diet. That's exactly right. And so I'll tell you my journey. Growing up, I was like everyone else. I ate the stupid American diet. I ate lots of bread. I drank lots of milk. I ate lots of margarine. I ate lots of spreads and things that were fake and made in factories. I had chronic allergies, chronic dandruff, chronic heartburn, and I was quickly becoming an obese, overweight, miserable doctor who was almost a type 2 diabetic. And so I had to turn that around. And so I started looking, and I found something called the paleo diet or the ancestral diet. And I started eating that way. And after a few months, I got better, lost a little weight, my numbers got better, but I didn't go back to where I really felt like was my best self. And so I kept reading and researching as I was eating paleo, and I found something called the low carb, high fat or the LCHF diet. So I started eating that. And I felt better. I lost more weight. My numbers came down even further. My dandruff kept getting better. My chronic reflux kept getting better. My skin kept getting better. And then I found something called a keto diet or the ketogenic diet. And so that made sense as the next progression. And so I adopted that diet and ate that for a few years. And I kept getting better. I lost even more weight. My joints hurt less. The reflux was completely gone. The dandruff, the heartburn, all those things were gone because I had gotten the inflammatory crap out of my diet. And so it turns out all those conditions that I thought were just a part of me, that stiff, painful knee, this chronic heartburn that I had to have Tums in my pocket for, the dandruff I had to buy special shampoo for, the allergies that literally ruined hundreds or thousands of social situations for me because I had to get up and go blow my nose, or I had to clear my throat 1,000 times, or I had to sneeze every 5 minutes. And as a teenager and a 20 something, that can really mess up your social game, right? And so ultimately, now lately, over about 3 months ago, I discovered the carnivore diet, which I consider the next progression after the ketogenic diet. And I had heard some very positive feedback about it, and I thought I'd give it a try. And I've been doing it for about 3 months now, and I've lost 5 more pounds. My joints feel better than they've ever felt. And so, as you get older, you have joints that have never even had an injury that are stiff and painful and swollen. That's the inflammation that's coming from your diet. Very few people just have arthritis for no reason, right? Even the autoimmune arthritis aren't just automatic. You do things that trigger them and make them worse. And the biggest thing that you do is your diet. What you either eat or don't eat, when you don't eat, that sort of thing can contribute to all these chronic inflammatory conditions. And it turns out that none of those things that I thought were just a chronic part of my life were that. They're all gone. I don't have them anymore, and that makes me very happy to say that. And so, as I've went through this journey, this dietary nutritional journey, it's occurred to me that out here is the standard, the stupid American diet, the standard UK, Canadian, Australian diet. And then when you tighten that up and you get rid of all the liquid dairy and you get rid of all the inflammatory grains and you get rid of all the vegetable oils, then you got paleo, right? It's a much better diet, but it's not. And it's for some people, this is wonderful. They stay right here forever and they feel great. For other people, they have to tighten that up even more to the low carb, high fat diet, right? Then they feel better. And then they say, yep, this is it. I feel great. I'm going to stay right here. Other people have to tighten it up even more into the ketogenic diet, right? And that's where many people feel the best they've felt in decades. And they stay right there. But there are some of us, and I'm one of those, who I had to tighten it up even more into the carnivore diet, where I eat only meat and animal products. And that's honestly where I felt my best. I've only been doing it for 3 months, like I said, and I don't know if I'll keep doing it forever. And I don't recommend it to my patients or even to you yet. It's still just an experiment, but it's something I want you to know about. There are so many people out there who have never considered that what they eat can make a difference in their health. Of course, we all say, "Oh, you should eat better," blah blah blah, but we don't really take it to heart. We don't really we might know it, but we don't know it, right? And that's what I'm trying to do today is wake you up a little bit and slap you around a little bit and say, hey, no, it really does matter a lot. And so if you're tired of taking Tums every day, if you're tired of taking Claritin every day for your allergies, if you're tired of buying that expensive shampoo for your dandruff, if you're tired of all this stuff and all the prescription medications, perhaps, just perhaps, you should try to change your diet because that's what all your body parts are made of, right? So why would the carnivore diet? I mean, meat causes cancer, meat causes heart attack and stroke, meat causes your cholesterol to go up, right? We all know that's true. Well, it turns out that probably none of that's true. When you go back and look at the research was either cherry picked and faked, or it's just observational studies and survey studies that you really can't prove causation from. You can only find correlations, and some of the correlations in the studies are very weak. Kind of like the one correlation you may have heard about that every time a new Nicolas Cage movie came out, the incidence of home swimming pool drownings increased. And that was absolutely true. They did a study, and it was there's a positive correlation between those two. But it doesn't mean that Nicolas Cage caused you to drown in your swimming pool, right? It's just a correlation. It's just a coincidence. And so many of these studies, when you look at them, the correlation between eating meat and cancer or heart attack or higher cholesterol was barely even a coincidence. And definitely wasn't, you couldn't even call it a true correlation from the studies. But news media love to jump on these studies and make a big deal out of them. And that's why you may think you know something that you really don't know because it's just not true. And so the why is that it seems that a meat diet for some people, a good whole meat, whole food, organic meat diet, grass fed, and animals treated the way animals are supposed to be treated, seems to be a very uninflammatory diet. It seems that it's even more uninflammatory than the ketogenic diet for some people. And so that's why I want you to read about this and consider giving this a try. How long should you do it? Well, here's the thing. Nobody knows because there's never been any research done about it. And a lot of you out there right now are going, aha, I knew it hadn't been proven. But here's the caveat with that. You know that American Diabetic Association diet that you may be eating? Guess how many studies have proven that that's effective? None. The American Heart Association diet, now that's a very academic, intellectual diet. That has to have been proven by multiple randomized controlled trial studies to reduce your risk of heart. No, actually, no, they're not a single study shows that that diet is any better for heart patients than any other diet. Okay. Now, the ADA and AHA diet may be a little better for you than the stupid American diet, the standard American diet, the SAD diet, but not much. And then you can't even prove that they are better because there's never been an RCT or a randomized control trial study done to prove that. And so don't think you know what you know, because a lot of times you've been told something and it's just not the case. So we don't know how long. I've been doing it for about 3 months, and for my patients who are inquisitive about it, they want to know about it. They're curious. I say, hey, just try it for a month. Try to eat nothing but fatty cuts of meat. You can add butter, you can add egg yolks because those are animal products, and just see how you feel in a month. If you don't feel any better, go back to eating keto, go back to eating low carb, high fat, go back to eating paleo. But please, please never, ever, ever go back to eating the stupid American diet, okay? Who should try this? Well, again, we don't know for sure, but it seems to make sense that people whose ancestry used to eat a meat heavy diet would probably benefit the most from a meat heavy diet. So, people of Nordic descent, of Inuit descent, anybody who lived at the very northernmost latitudes, or and perhaps even the southernmost, but more so the northernmost latitudes because we've been living there longer, they might benefit from an all meat carnivore diet. Also, if you've ever had your DNA checked by 23andMe or some of the other companies, you may have found that you have a high percentage of Neanderthal DNA. Looks like from the studies of their diet, they were almost exclusively carnivores. So if you're of Nordic descent and you also have a very high percentage of Neanderthal DNA, then you might very well benefit from the uninflammatory carnivore diet. I'm not recommending it, I'm not advocating it, I'm just putting it out there because I think in today's times you're smart enough to know that you can't blindly trust the experts about your health and definitely about your nutrition. Most of the experts have taken money from big corporations, or their research has at least been sponsored by the big corporations. And it's human nature to find what your paycheck depends upon you finding, right? That's the law of human nature. And so try the carnivore diet, read about it, ask your doctor about it, see what you think about it. And then if it makes sense for you and your situation, try it for a month and see how you feel. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to watch others just like it or similar to it, you can click the subscribe button, and then there's a little bell right beside it. If you click that button also, then you'll get a notification every time I get another bright idea, right? And if you feel like my videos have really touched your life and perhaps even improved your health, you can click on the Patreon link below. You can sign up quickly and you can throw a buck or two my way, and it just helps me have more time to make more videos just like this. This is Dr. Barry. I'll see you next time.